What is up? All right, y'all. It has officially been crazy, but we're gonna make this happen anyway. All right, so I have been back from St. Vincent for 6 days now. So tomorrow will make a week. As you may know, if you follow me on Instagram, I got sick like 3 days in.
I do not feel well. I have a head cold. I'm pretty sure I probably have a slight fever. Yeah. Yesterday's event was not it, logistically. No. I need them to bring it back and come again.
And so I am now at like maybe 98%. I'm still a little tired, but we'll get to that. So I just wanted to give you all this recap. I haven't published this anywhere. I did do a Q&A on IG. So if you have questions about the experience that I had in St. Vincent, specifically about Mass or any of the fetes, whatever, be sure to go on my IG highlight reel to check it out. So first and foremost, I just want to be clear. I think there are some misconceptions that everyone who does this is doing it because it's a paid situation. I do not. I pay for all my trips. For the most part, I 100% fund my own trips, and I like it that way because I get to say what I want to say about my experience. And even if I did, even if a portion of the trip or some of the trip was sponsored, you still will get my honest opinion. And I try to be very tactful with the way that I share my thoughts. So anyway, said all that to say, this is not a sponsored post. So as you know, make sure to watch that other video about my update because I was supposed to arrive in St. Vincent a lot earlier than I did. But I ended up arriving on July 5th in the morning at the crack of dawn.
You're finally going to the airport. For real. For real. Oh my God. This is a very different experience than the first time. It is empty.
We made it, you guys. She's on our plane. Vincy or bust.
The first thing we always do is unpack, honey.
Thankfully, they shifted the start time of the fete that I was supposed to go to first, which was called Boozy Boat. That fete was actually supposed to start at 9 o'clock in the morning. They pushed it back to 1, and I think we didn't really sail off till like 2 something. Now, that event was a great kickstart to the festivities for me. I had a blast. The music that they played they played global soca, but they also had some Vincy segments. They also incorporated the Vincy soca into the global soca, so I had a great time. The only thing that didn't sit well with me, but again, I'm offering grace because due to the hurricane, the waters and the sand and everything underneath shifted. So normally where the boat would dock and we would get off to have lunch or whatever, that wasn't able to take place. And instead what they did was they sent out these little smaller boats to come and collect people in small groups to go back and forth to land. Now I opted out of that. I didn't feel like it. I really just wanted to sleep. And so I went on the top deck. I slept for like an hour and change. And then by the time I woke up, people were coming back to the boat. I do believe that there was a little bacchanal with the food line or lack thereof. You know how people can be. So there was that. And I witnessed that. I was like, I don't feel like this is going to bring peace to my spirit. So I'm going to opt out. All right. I'm going to opt out of doing that portion. My friends did bring food back for me, but they didn't realize that I was upstairs. They thought that I had went to the land to get food, which I did not. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Boozy boat, great event, had a blast. Had a good amount of people, but not too many people. There was still space to walk up, and I feel like the energy on boat one was where it needed to be. Mad Russian DJ'd. I think Justin Miller DJ'd as well, who is native to Vincy. But again, across the board, great time. Beginning needed some work in terms of just organization stuff, but it wasn't too horrible. Made it to the boat. Had a very interesting experience trying to find parking for that event, but we made it, and it was a good time. Fete was the next day on Saturday, which was Brunch and Soca. Brunch and Soca, thankfully, was like 7 minutes away from the Airbnb that we were staying at, and parking was, there was a plethora of parking. They had these cute little photo booths as you walked into the fete, and we got there fairly early. It was an all-inclusive event, and they did a really nice job of executing the theme, which was citrus. And when I tell you, these people came out dressed to the freaking nine, and the men did not disappoint. Like, and normally, like, and they were just giving fete chic. They were on theme, and they just looked really nice. The men looked really nice. There were a lot of custom outfits out there, and it was just giving. It was giving Met Gala fete, citrus fete. It was really cute. And DJs, again, did a really nice job. I loved all the Vincy segments. I appreciated the Global Soca. I appreciated the little dance hall segment. Problem Child came out and performed. A lot of local artists performed as well. People who like were hearing the hits and were like, "Oh, that's who sings it. Okay, cool. I like it." Food was good, but what I did not appreciate, they had a lot of food, but they would give them to you on these dessert plates. So I, myself and my friends, had 2 plates in hand. Thankfully, my fingers are long, so I'm able to manage it. But it's like there was no way that you were going to fit all of the food on there. So it's like you needed 2 plates. Y'all might as well have just given us big people plates and called it a day. So anyway, Brunch and Soca was a great time. After that, the next day was Wete. Now, we were supposed to go to Slippery when Wete, but my Airbnb host informed us that fete will probably not happen. And he told us this like the day before, but there still had not been an official announcement about the fete being canceled. So I think while we were in line, or while we were like walking to Brunch and Soca, we got the notification that Slippery When Wet was not going to happen. Now, people who have gone to Slippery When Wet, it didn't happen last year, and they were bringing it back this year. And a lot of people said, you need to go to Slippery When Wet. Cool, done. We were doing it. And then they canceled it. So then we were like, all right, what are we going to do today? There was another fete called Wet Republic. Wet Republic is a very a popular fete for, I guess like it was the only fete happening that day, which meant the whole of the country was going to be at this fete, and it was supposed to be like at a beach or something. Masha was supposed to be performing, Problem Child, whatever. I'm like, okay, cool. I haven't seen Masha in a while, even though I keep reminding myself not to give into that, because I only want to see Masha with full band dancers and all those things. I don't want to see Masha when he just has a freaking DJ. So anyway, ticket was also $25 US, which was like, okay, you know what? That also should have been a red flag. But anyway, now come to find out, now this fete was on the other side of the effing island, or like a 40-minute drive from where we were staying. That in itself was a journey. So driving in St. Vincent, 10 out of 10 do not recommend.
I mean, you're driving not like you live here.
Right.
Like,
Right.
You take it easy. Like, take it easy, okay? I mean, you're doing good and all, but damn.
Shit like this scare me. No side road, just drop.
And I love driving, and I think I'm a great driver. You know, I know all the things, but baby, them ditches, them drain holes, Lord Father, them one-way cliff routes, my God. So anyway, 40 minutes in that. But thankfully, on the other side of that island, where we were driving, the roads were better, right? It was a little safer. I felt safer, but still 40 minutes. Get there. There's a whole bunch of bacchanal about where to go, right? So there's like one sign, like here, park here. But there's also a police officer who was not really aggressive enough for me. People were kind of running him over, and I'm just like, baby, that's not how this works. So anyway, we park finally. Then we park on this big field of grass. Then have to walk up and then have to take a shuttle. So I'm thinking, you know, maybe this is like some Caesar's Army stuff where you get in the shuttle. You're in the shuttle for like 2 minutes. Nah, son. First of all, it took me long to get a shuttle. And then the drive to where I'm thinking is the venue was like 10, 15 minutes. I'm like, all right. And like trees, it's nothing. It's just bush. And so then we get there and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to hop out, be in the fete. No, there was still more walking to be done before you got to the fete, after you got off the shuttle. I'm like, all right, cool. In my head, I'm like, we got to get out of here early. So, boom, go in. Venues, nah, right? It's not a beach. Not what I was expecting. It's just land. Booths in the back with food or whatever, and just space, right? The minute that we step in, it starts raining. 2 minutes after we step in, it's a whole freaking, skies are black. It is torrential rain. Lightning starts, thunder starts. I'm like, well, I'm already in a bathing suit, so like we're not running because we came to get wet, right? A lot of other people ran. There's also no coverings, like how at like Brunch and Soca, they had like the covering, so at least if you were under it, you wouldn't get wet. There wasn't that. People are under tables trying not to get wet. But again, this is not normal rain, okay? These are not surprise. It's like Beryl came back, okay? I'm not exaggerating. But yeah. So that happened. And then it let up, but it never really stopped like raining the entire time. Like there were still sprays, there were still sprinkles, but it was not a nice day. The ground sucked. Again, would have been different if it was on a beach, but it wasn't. Masho comes out, performs for like 10 minutes, does his contribution, gives like 20 G's to the relief fund. Skinny matches it, 20 G's. The DJs give up their pay for the event. And that's that. Now, it was okay for me in the beginning. If you have been following me for a while, you know that I don't do packed. And again, whole of the island came out to this thing because it was the only fete happening that day. Now, I don't like to be crowded. I like to have space to dance and to enjoy myself. I also, again, I'm sober. Like, I don't drink during fetes and things. I like to drink at home. I like to, sip on a little something at home. That's it. Now, once we get to a point in an event where people do not know how to keep still and there's just like a lot of movement happening. You see the same people crossing over you. Oh, they want to go get a drink. They want to go do this. They want to do that. And it's just like, you can't keep still or you can't enjoy your space because people are continuously passing. That's to the point where I was getting, and it was irking the crap out of me. And I was like, I have to go. I'm going to the back. I'm just going to go to the back. So I went to the back, went to try to get some food. I did end up getting some food. I got like some jerk. What did I get? Jerk pork, jerk chicken, jerk something. I got chicken and some festival. And that was that. And then I got even more aggravated when I heard this DJ who played at Brunch and Soca, and I got excited for the set at Brunch and Soca, but then I started hearing the same set at Wete Republic. I'm like, what is going on? Lost it. I lost it. Send a text. Also, signal service, bad. Because, again, whole of St. Vincent is at Wete Republic. So text messages aren't going through, and I'm like, listen. So thankfully, one of my crew came to the back because she too was over it. And then eventually I was like, so I'm ready to go. How you feeling? Ready when you are? Bet. So we sent a message knowing that it probably would not reach the group at any time. I was just like, we're leaving, heading back to the shuttle. When I tell you it was pure madness to get out of there. Like, first of all, I told you about these roads that should just be one way that are not. You have whole shuttles. Like, the street is blocked. People can't come in. People can't come out. Right? There was a shuttle trying to reverse. People had to move the tent that people were waiting under in order for this shuttle to reverse. So what we ended up doing was walking all the way down until we could walk no more, or until like the road cleared up, and then hijacked someone's taxi, meaning like someone was getting in a taxi. There were a couple people in front of us, and I knew that they were looking for a ride. And then as soon as I saw that they got a ride, I was like, oh, excuse me, hold on. So we ended up hijacking this taxi that this man was in and paid them some change. We took the long ass route to where the cars went in there. Mind you, it is still raining. Feet are muddy, head is soaked, body soaked. It's crazy. Go to the car and just sit in the car. Like trying to put the heat on in St. Vincent because the rain is cold and we're drenched. Listen, probably about 30, maybe 40 minutes afterwards, the rest of the crew arrive, go through the same bacchanal trying to get out. And then we make that 40-minute drive back. It was probably longer than that because it's raining now and it's dark and nobody's trying to fall in a ditch. Nobody's trying to go off over a cliff. So we're taking our time. I was so happy to get in that house. Okay? Wake up. Guess what? Fever. Sweating. Chills. Like, I would have been fine if it was worth it. Like, people had, like, don't get me wrong, the vibes were there at Wete Republic, but logistically, it messed it up for me. It wasn't for me. I'm also slightly anemic. I don't like to be cold. I don't like to, like, there were just a lot of things that did not align with me. And again, that DJ set did it for me. after that, the next day was chilling and getting ready for Monday t-shirt mass. Again, I'm sick. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to make it out.
I do not feel well. I have a head cold. I'm pretty sure I probably have a slight fever. Yeah. Yesterday's event was not it, logistically. No. I need them to bring it back and come again. But I'm about to pop some pills and make these little carnival accessories.
End up making it out, but I'm sitting down the entire time. Like, I would just go ahead of the band, again, because I'm not trying to be around people. And I would just sit. I would sit on the corner, I would sit on somebody's stoop or sit on whatever and wait for the band to truck, and then I'll go and pass it again. It was not a good day. But we played with Guinness Posse, who had vibes. Like, Guinness, granted, they played the same stuff over and over again, like the same less than 10 songs repeatedly. But, you know, it was what it was. The one thing I will say about Guinness, like, the package was cute. But I do want them to do a better job of explaining what comes with each package, right? Because all I got, unless I truly missed it, but it's not me. It's like, there were like 200 people in the chat who also bear witness. But like, you just put up these two pictures, and the differences between the images are, especially when you go to register, is just like a keychain. I'm like, so I'm not paying VIP for this thing. Now, it would have been nice to know, hey, VIP comes with food, VIP comes with a variety of spirit options and beverage options, right? It does not specify that if you get a general ticket, you're only drinking Guinness or water. It's not clear. That was not written anywhere. So, unless I missed it, all right, I didn't see it. The other 200 people in the chat didn't see it. There are some people just like VIP, boom, I'm getting it, right? I'm not that person, especially because I don't drink on the road. So anyway, there was that. I did not have a good time Monday because I was sick, okay? Get home, could not have been happier to get inside the house. I ended up leaving the crew, me and my old faithful, I'm ready to go when you are, homegirl. We left because, mind you, things were supposed to stop sharply at 8:00 p.m. So I'm toughing it out till 8:00, and I'm like, it's 8:05, it's 8:15. When are y'all gonna shut this down? All right. And then by the time I was like, you know what? I can't. I tried to be a G. I tried to take one for the team, and y'all aren't helping me because this 8:00 curfew is not happening. So we left. Go to the car, find the car, drive to the apartment, and I knock TF out. Sweating, more sweating. Wake up the next day, like, now I'm like, I don't think I'm going outside for real. I don't think I'm getting in this costume. It's probably not happening. Either way, sidebar. Also, a lot of the other things shifted. A lot of the other things that I wanted to do to get the culture, I wanted to do the Manche Grass, I wanted to do Pan, I wanted to do Soca Marta, but I'm just like, y'all have shifted everything, and I am not also the roads, also the driving, right? Like, I don't understand where these people get this energy from to do so many events back to back to back. Like, that's not my life. Like, that's not my life anymore. Right? 10 years ago, maybe I used to be able to stick it out. That's not me. So there are definitely some things that I would do differently if I go back. I was not able to do my touristy stuff. I had hikes scheduled. I had a ferry ride to Bequay, all of the things. But again, Beryl came in, did her thing, and bounced and messed it up. Either way, the road. Now let's talk about the road. Play with oxygen mask. Package was amazing. Overall, like, not one thing came off my costume. Okay, it was well made. I was able to customize it. It was a well thought out package. I really love my goodie bag. It's probably the best goodie bag I've ever gotten in all of the countries that I've been to. Definitely some things that I would keep. The only piece about my costume that I didn't really care for was my panty. Didn't like how it was constructed or designed. But everything else, I love the bra. Everything else was good. And I ended up kind of just shifting things around to suit my style and my preferences. But costume on point, package on point, pickup on point. Didn't really care for the parking situation. But again, what are you going to do? There is no place to park, or very little places to park in St. Vincent, because the roads and the drains are just very much inconvenient. Okay, so it's not like, yeah, I'm gonna just park on this side. No, you're not. You're not. So anyway, there was parking. Could fit like maybe 4 or 5 cars, which is why I wanted to go early, right? So if it opened at 9, we got there like 8:50, and they were already open and ready and giving out stuff. So there was that, and it probably took all of 5 minutes to get everything. All right. So now on the road, I am usually an on-time person when it comes to being on the road, but again, I'm sick, right? So road was supposed to start at 10 o'clock. They were giving out, now I heard the breakfast was bomb. I heard there were a lot of options. And that started, I believe, from like 8:45 until like 9:45 or something like that, and then road. But they did not pull off until around noon. We said that we were going to leave the house at noon. That didn't happen, right? Because we're all in like slow-mo. I'm definitely like, I woke up at 6, drenched. Woke up at 6. I worked on my friend's leg pieces that I was going to make, and then I went back to sleep. Okay, because I'm like, I want to make it. I want to go on the road, but I also want to feel a little better. And I feel like if I go to sleep, I'll feel better. That happened. Woke up. So I don't know when we left the house. I think we arrived. We had to park at the old airport. We parked on at the old airport on the tarmac, which is a very convenient spot. And then we hopped in a maxi to get to town. And then we walked a little bit to find, sorry, I'm really adjusting my wig. We walked a little bit to find the truck. And it wasn't hard. I just had someone in the band, my friend, drop a pin, and we followed the pin to where they were. So I was sad that I missed breakfast because I really wanted that, especially because I hadn't eaten properly like the entire trip, right? So like being on the road, I'm like, I know I'm gonna get some good food today. I'm like, I haven't had a vegetable since I arrived. It's just been KFC, festival, and whatever you get on the side. I'm like, I want some rice. So anyway, all right, we get there. It's cool. I'm liking the energy. I'm liking the vibes. The costumes are looking really nice in person. People are out there having a good time. I don't know whether or not, I'm thinking that we're headed towards like the stage or something. We were not. We missed that part. And it happened like really, really, really early on. And yeah, and then throughout the night or throughout the day, like I wanted to speed ahead to lunch to make it there before the crowds, but I thought we were going to do a stage. Somebody said that we were going to cross the stage. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Well, I'll just wait for that. That didn't happen. I could have got lunch earlier. Anyway, the setup at lunch was really nice. I think I'm very much used to sitting on the ground for lunchtime. But they had chairs. There were different, so many food stations. And yes, you did have to get up your chip, but you only had to give up your chip once you got to the, like, an official food station. But there were so many options, just like snacks and cakes and desserts and doubles, like, before you even got to the food station. So you were able to eat things before giving up your chip. I really liked the detox station that they had, where they had like Gatorade, and then they had like this very fine, was it very fine? No, Minute Maid juice, which I needed. I was like, I need all the electrolytes. Okay, that's what I was drinking on the road. I brought the packets with me. I was like, this is what's gonna keep me alive. So yeah. And just when I thought, I'm like, oh, this is all this eating. No, it went back. Like, they were ready, right? And I was like, you know what? I found like this nice little seat by the wharf, sat down, dangled my feet off the edge, ate my food. And even with your food, they gave like a plate of dessert, right? So I had like 4 or 5 things in my dessert plate, or on my dessert plate. And ooh, that bread pudding, honey, with the caramel sauce. All right. And the Shirley crackers. Girl. All right. But they did a good job with the food and the rest stop. If the lines were took a while, but I was just happy to have some quality food. And what happened after that? We went back out on the road. Things turned up. I will say, though, they still played the same X amount of songs, right? Like, there really wasn't a variety of music. I was looking forward to that. I was looking forward to, like, there's just certain road music, but it was like the same as Monday night, right? And again, a lot of the tracks that I heard on these 3-hour mixes were not being played. And I'm getting turned off. I'm like, right. I'm like, maybe I need to put my carnival hat up or something. But like, whatever islands are heavy on this road march thing, I just can't do. Or I need to attend, or I need to do things differently and attend where that's not the case, because I did not come here to hear the 10 St. Vincent songs that were going to be popping. I wanted to hear all the songs that are on the mix. Okay, granted, maybe not. I understand that groovy is not really a thing. Groovy's my thing, but still, there's no reason why 10% of the songs should be only played. That other than that, had a time on the road. I really enjoyed the snacks. Right, they were tossing out snacks left and right. There were cheese doodles, there were caramel popcorn, whatever. The girls were coming out and they were tossing them. It wasn't hard to get a drink, water. People, I just love how people look at me like, that's it, just water, just juice, just pineapple, that's it. That's all I want. Thank you. And ice, lots of ice. They went back to where they had lunch, but we left at like 8:30, 9. Again, these things are supposed to end. They just keep going. And then I went, slept, woke up the next day, tried to pack. Now, the airport situation, honey, was a hot mess. And this was due to the security scanners that were damaged by Beryl. So someone did put in the chat that you need to go to the airport even earlier. Here's what happened. So we're trying to make our way to, it's called NEMO, which is their National Emergency something. Basically, it was a place that we were going to drop off the hygiene kits that we made for those in need. Now, I get the address and we're making our way, and me and my homegirl, we're going to stop to go on our way to the airport. Listen, when I tell you that route that the GPS wanted me to take, I was like, I'm going to have to abort this mission, and I am just going to hope that the rental agency, right, I'm hoping that it's going to be like island vibes, like, hey, I needed to do this thing, I can't do it, can y'all drop this off for me? And because I'm like, this route is trying to kill me. Like, you don't want me to make my flight because you want me to die on somebody's hill, which I'm not doing. So I boarded, head to the airport. It's a long ride. It's probably like 30 minutes to the airport from where we were. Thankfully, it was in the opposite direction of town because things were back to normal. People, like, it was just traffic. So I have a little encounter with a down tree that was on a cliff, right? There was a car that came by. This is a narrow road. Car that came by. It's like mountain on my left, bloop, cliff on my right. Okay. Now this car came by, let him pass, and then it's my turn to now go around. And then there's a tree in the middle of the road. I'm like, okay, all right. Now, I'm not really paying attention to how far the tree is in the road. I'm more so trying to focus on not falling off the cliff. So here I go, passing it, right? My girl is also focused on not falling off the cliff. Here I go, passing it. That is the tree scraping the side of the rental. I was like, we'll deal with it when I get there. We will deal with it when I get. That's what insurance is for. So, park. Mind you, we're also running late. Like, I like to be on time. I like to be 2-3 hours ahead of schedule, especially after the news I got about the airport situation. Girl, tell me why. So I get there. As soon as we get out the car, torrential rain. Right? So now we're soaking. Me and the rental agent and my homegirl. I'm going through all this stuff. I know that I gotta hand over some money. I was like, hey, how much is it? Does that just happen? Yes, it did. Then I'm like, hey, guess what? I have all these bags of hygiene kits. I don't know what to do with them. I was trying to drop them off at Nemo. It's a whole thing all going on with rain. Girl, so we sorted out. I hand over the money. I'm hoping that I can get a receipt after I get home, all the things. And she's like, and she says that she will get someone, whoever's going in that direction, to drop them off at Nemo. Like, I am trusting that this person is honoring the honor code, okay, of life. I'm like, all right, this is it. Like, we tried, we wanted to give back somehow. And, and now I'm like, I was going to be upset if they did not make it somewhere. Get to the airport, walk down, and now there's these lines, right? Like, it wouldn't let us check in. And the flight, it's supposed to leave at 1:30. It's probably 12:30 at this point. Stay in line another 30 minutes. People are, now I'm thinking that we're like the last people to arrive for this flight, or that everyone that's in line is there for some other flight. No, girl. Why? Like, people who were there hours before are still in the lines. It was cray-cray, right? So I'm like, well, and then they did a survey, like, oh, who's in here on the such and such flight to Port of Spain? Majority of people raised their hand. We're like, okay, well, clearly the plane cannot leave without us. So there was a communication issue. So basically the people on the ground, the airport staff, and the Caribbean Airlines staff were not connecting, were not on the same page. And so the Caribbean Airlines staff was not aware that all of those people were yet to be through security, right? So then there was this whole thing where the girl came out, this representative came out from the security, and then ushering those who were on the 130 through, kind of like getting beyond the people who were there, Started some drama, right? There was a man who felt like he was being disrespected even though he was still on the same flight. It was a lot of stuff going on. He's now arguing with some other dude. But I'm just like, we're all in the same flight. Like, it's going to be okay. They're not leaving us. Nobody's really cutting you. We're following instructions because homegirl told us to follow her, so that's what we're doing. Do you really expect me to go all the way through here? No, I'm not doing that. Anyway, so what happened? Then, think I'm finally getting on the plane, handing over my thing. Oh, you have to go downstairs. For what? They have to check your bag. What? Now, nobody's explaining, right? I have one of those suitcases where you put the little numbers in to lock it, and that's what I did because I'm thinking that all the airlines, you know, all the airports, staff, whatever, security, have the little key. That's why I got it. You can just plug the key in and open the thing. No. For some reason, if you had a lock on your suitcase or if you locked it, whatever, you had to now go walk 5 minutes with airport staff to go to this hot room, unlock your suitcase, wait for them to check it, close it, whatever, go back, and then you sit on the plane. When I tell you, it was just all the thing. It was just bacana. I don't know. Last time I checked, as of like 2 days ago or yesterday, the scanners were still down. So that whole airport situation was madness. It was madness. And that was that. So overall, I did enjoy myself. If I had to do that over again, I would not drive. And typically I do my research, or typically I wait till I go to an island, observe, and then say to myself whether or not I would drive here. I didn't do that because I was trusting like just feedback that I've heard from friends who also like to drive, also don't drink and things like that. And it's doable, but just the level of anxiety that comes with that. Like, I would just rather not have, I would rather not have the thought of people's lives being in my hand day in and day out. Right? I would also, like, I loved where we stayed. I loved the luxury of it all. But I think, again, with the driving, with whatever, I would have probably chosen to stay in town, right? It wouldn't have been as lush, but I would have been able to stay out at things longer. I would have been able to walk home if need be, you know, especially since, you know, I tend to have like an older spirit and my friends want to stay out all night. Yeah, I would have done that. And again, I didn't have the opportunity to have those 4 days to myself to kind of get a lay of the land, find out where to eat and all those things. So I didn't eat right. I didn't eat properly. And so, yeah, I definitely would have stayed in town, like in Kingstown, proper. So that road, all the things that were happening, there was like, if I stayed in town, there would only been like, those 2-3 fetes that I attended, or 2 fetes that I attended. However, I would not go back to Wete Republic. If they have Wete Republic back at that same venue, I'm not interested at all. Because that was too much. And usually once you incorporate a shuttle into the Fete experience, I'm just like, why, right? It's rarely a pleasant thing, except for like Caesar's Army, right? But other than that, but vibes in St. Vincent, like, people were ready to party. They were pleasant. And let me talk about this. The stormers on the road were non-existent until it got pitch black, right? Like, it was peace, right? It was just people in costume. A lot of the men got those bucket hat packages or whatever, even though they weren't like in costume. and they like people were having a good time everywhere we went. Like, I don't know that there was really like a stish. Like, I can't visualize a stish section of any fete on the road, whatever. Like, people were on one accord, on a mission to enjoy themselves, and that is what happened. So yeah, I had a lovely time. I wish I did not get sick. Other than that, other than like Wet Republic not being my cup of tea, it was great. But everybody else who went to Wet Republic, for the most part, really enjoyed themselves, and had a great time. Like, again, if you like that type of vibe and that energy, but my tolerance and my patience is really low for excessive crowds. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that out there. That's just me, right? But it was a good event, but logistically needs work. Yeah. All right. So would I go back to St. Vincent? I would, but you all know I'm on my last lap tour of carnivals that I haven't touched, so I probably wouldn't go back anytime soon. I go back to St. Vincent for the sake of going for St. Vincent, but the only festival experience that I would repeat continuously is Crop Over, because that's just where my heart is. That is also where I have the most connections, right? So if because I pay for these things by myself, so if I know that I have lodging, if I know that I have, you know what I mean, like those types of things, then that's where I'm going to go. And I'm also in love with Bashment Soca, so there's that. So there's a number of reasons why I would go back to a place if there are connections or what have you. But yeah, I think moving forward, that is like probably my constant fete. Not fete. That is probably my constant experience that I would keep returning to. Yeah, so there's that. I hope you enjoyed. Again, if you want more details, have specific questions about whatever, hit me up in the DMs, hit me up in the comments, whatever you want to do. Happy to share. Big up, Vincy. It was a good time. 2024.